Hello class, welcome to today's conversation about what is the difference between opera singing, choral singing, and if there is any interchange between the two, featuring video game music as an example. When you think of opera singing, what do you think about? Am I the only opera singer you know? Maybe. Do you know me? I don't know. Anyway, you think of a solitary person, an ensemble of people, maybe duets, trios, things like that. When we think of a chorus, we think of a large ensemble of people, 50, 60, 30, 100, 200 people, all singing as one voice. Sometimes on my YouTube comments, people ask me if what they're hearing is opera, if it's a chorus, and the answer is no. There's a different kind of singing between opera ensembles, and choral writing. Before we start doing some comparing and contrasting, this is how you sing opera. You take a deep breath, expanding your diaphragm to the left and to the right, opening your rib cage, and expanding your back muscles outward. So you end up looking like this. A way to move away from clavicular breathing up and down like this and hyperventilating and having a panic attack, is by putting a book on your belly. You'll find that most people don't belly breathe, which is a key thing for meditation, for instance. People belly breathe when they meditate. Then I want you to think about producing a tone. Ha, 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 ha. But we also have to understand that when we sing, we go up and out. The soft palate raises. We raise that in singing. Right now my soft palate is raised, why I sound like such a handsome man. We also want to think about lowering our larynx. When we breathe in, we essentially get this sound. When we yawn, we raise our soft palate. Did you yawn? You probably yawned. That's the basics of opera technique. Way more goes into it, but that's how we're able to produce tones like this.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
That is the standard operatic sound, not dissimilar to this track in video games. Now, I'm not going to say that's the best opera singing in the world, but what I will say is that that is actually close to proper operatic technique. Another example of really good opera singing in a video game soundtrack is Sie liebten sich beide from Punishing Gray Raven. Nice vibrato, nice legato, there's an evenness in the tone. That's all good, beautiful operatic singing. Another example might be the Duviri Paradox music from Warframe.
Dominus, oh Dominus, iraca contemneo.
This piece is actually really close to what we know of as art song, which is a style of singing and a style of music that are basically written for small chamber ensembles or small performance venues. The most famous of this is the Schubertiade, where Schubert would invite friends, relatives, and people he knew to come to his house while he played on the piano and had a singer perform for these little tiny venues. Lieder composers and melody composers really are writing for the idea of intimacy. These are slightly different than opera, but it's still sung with an operatic quality. However, as we move into what a chorus sounds like, we have to understand that just because something is classical doesn't mean that it's operatically based. A prime example of this would be Ludwig the Holy Blade. This is not opera. This is actually a chorus. And I want to make it clear that it's not because of the technique per se, so much as it is about where it fits. An opera ensemble needs to be in an opera in order to be classified as opera. Now you're saying to yourself, Marco, aren't you the guy that specifically says that classical music and video game music have no genre-defining factors and should not have separate labels? Yes. But it's important for you to understand that there is a delineation. When we're singing in a chorus, usually we're not using full vibrato. Usually, we're not trying to be the loudest in the room. Ideally, when we're in an ensemble, we are actually trying to blend with our other colleagues that are singing with us. The goal in a choral environment is to be a unified sound. It's to be a member of a community singing, while a conductor guides all of us in unison. Take the Dark Souls 3 main theme as an example. Do you hear how the men in this piece, you could individually spot each of them, but they are acting as one fluid motion together. There's not one voice that really sticks out more than the other. That's that kind of unity that we look for. Or if you look at Ascension from Final Fantasy XVI, I could listen to that all day. That is not opera. That is a choral composition. I don't think that we really do get an opera chorus really in any video game. I don't remember. Part of the reason why is because an opera chorus needs to be in an opera. But also opera singing itself doesn't lend itself to being sung in ensembles. Again, for the sheer fact that usually opera singers are solo performers. It's very rare that we are in an ensemble. And I just wanted to maybe help highlight some of these incongruencies with what it means to be opera versus what it means to be choral. Because while we may use classical technique when singing some of these classical pieces, it doesn't mean that it's opera singing. Opera singing is very different. Opera singing involves vibrato, breath, being a soloist usually, and really that's the big delineation. And now that I've finished filming this, I can't help but wonder I've made it more confusing than not. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Hopefully you just enjoyed thinking and talking about this a little bit. It's certainly fun to talk about. If you have any questions about vocal technique, I will try to answer them. See you later.